Look at me.
Sure.
Look at me.
Sure.
I'm the captain now. You like a voice?
James Gunn's new Superman movie just released, and I want to talk about why this is the best Superman movie we've gotten in years. Here are 5 reasons why this Superman movie is amazing. Okay, let's get right into it with reason number 1, embracing the camp. Joel Schumacher's Batman and Robin movie is having a bit of a moment lately. When it first came out, this movie was lambasted by audiences and critics alike. But there's been a slew of videos and articles in the last few years that attempt to rehabilitate this movie. Now, am I here to argue that this movie is actually some sort of misunderstood masterpiece that was way ahead of its time?
$5 million.
That's a utility belt, not a money belt. $6 million.
$7 million. Never leave the cave without it.
No, I'm not. But it did do something right that the previous DCEU movies have been absolutely allergic to. It embraced the camp and silliness of comic book movies. Look, comic books are goofy. That's just a fact. And that's part of their charm. They can be serious and thought-provoking too, but at the end of the day, a guy fighting people in his underwear is always going to have some amount of silliness to it. And it's okay for movies to be aware of this and embrace it. Zack Snyder seemed almost embarrassed to be making comic book movies. Man of Steel had an overly serious tone, and even the color palette was joyless. The Gunn Superman movie balances serious stakes and conflict with just the right amount of goofiness, and this gives the movie heart. Guy Gardner, the movie's Green Lantern, is a perfect example of this. When you look at Gardner, you expect him to be a comic relief character. He just looks silly, with his ridiculous Dust Bowl haircut and his over-the-top facial expressions. On top of that, characters in the movie just don't seem to take him all that seriously. But this silliness is balanced with heart. I don't want to give anything away, but I'll just say that the movie doesn't reduce Gardner to a one-note gag. He's a bit of a goofball, sure, but there's also a lot more going on beneath the surface. And this also fits in with his depiction in the comics. Gardner is a Green Lantern who is often portrayed as brash, abrasive, and kind of an over-the-top jerk, with a personality that can border on the ridiculous at times. But he's also known to be a layered and complex character, who ultimately has a good heart. This is what makes him beloved among the fans. And Gunn's Superman seems to be drawing on that legacy. This is what gives Gunn's Superman movie heart. It's not just putting Guy Gardner in a box. He's not just one thing. He's not just silly or goofy or competent or a leader. He's all of these things at once. And this nuance is a microcosm of comics as a whole. It's why we love comics. Comics aren't just one thing. They can be all of these things at once. Silly, serious, for children, for adults, whatever they need to be. Gunn's movie takes this message and runs with it, giving us a movie that balances these different tones together and creates something that works as a unit. Reason number 2 is the mystery box, but done right. J.J. Abrams uses what he calls the mystery box way of storytelling. It's his way of enticing the audience to keep watching by feeding them little mysteries throughout the movie. Some examples of this are, who are Ray's parents? What is the island? What the hell is this guy doing in this movie?
What are you doing here?
And this technique is effective at getting people to watch your movie. People will watch if you give them a mystery, but to a point. Eventually, they're going to want a satisfying answer to that mystery. If they don't get one, they're gonna get pissed. This is because opening a mystery is like making a promise.
I made a promise, Mr. Frodo.
It's a contract with your audience that their patience will be rewarded with something cool. If you deliver on that promise, you've fulfilled your end of the contract. But if not, the audience is going to feel cheated, like you manipulated them into watching with cheap tricks. Fortunately for J.J. Abrams, all of his mysteries have satisfying answers, and no one is pissed at him. The new Superman movie uses mysteries very effectively. I won't give anything away, but I'll just say, Gunn understands the mystery box. He understands how to plant questions throughout the movie, and more importantly, he understands how to answer them. Okay, so those last 2 reasons ran a little long, so I'm going to speed run the next 3. Reason number 3. This movie is funny without being obnoxious. The humor comes from situations and character development, not just from quips. Reason number 4 is that Superman is actually a hero in this movie. In the Snyder movies, it never really felt like Superman was going out of his way to save people. He kills Zod at the end of Man of Steel, causes mass destruction to the city, and he never really tries to move the fight outside of Metropolis. In this movie, by contrast, Superman goes out of his way to try and save literally every character he meets. I have to think that this is Gunn intentionally contrasting his Superman with the depiction that we got in the Snyderverse, in order to show that preserving life is one of Superman's core values. And I think this aspect of the movie worked really well. And reason number 5 is that this movie nails the Kents. The Kents are an emotional rock for Superman to lean on, but they also function to show that he's not just an alien from another world. At his core, Superman is just as human as the rest of us, maybe even more so. He's a small-town farm boy who loves his parents. If you've seen the movie, you'll remember that there's one scene in particular between Clark and Pa Kent that really captures this dynamic. I don't want to spoil it for those who haven't seen the movie, but I'll just say that this scene is exactly the kind of relationship between Clark and his parents that we see in things like Superman for All Seasons, which is one of the inspirations for this movie. James Gunn clearly loves and respects the source material, and while this isn't a direct adaptation of any one comic in particular, you can see the inspiration in the way he writes his characters. And bonus reason, Krypto. I tried to keep this video on the shorter side, but I could honestly talk about so many other things that I loved about this movie. I didn't even get to mention Mr. Terrific, who stole the show every scene he was in. But I want to know what you liked about the movie. Let me know in the comments what your favorite parts were, and if you enjoyed this content, please like and subscribe.